How to stop being a people pleaser but still be kind. A lot of times when we think about being a people pleaser, we think we have to be, a jerk or whatever else in order to not be a people pleaser. But that's not the case in my eyes. I think you can be assertive. I think you can be kind and come from a level of calm intensity while also not caving into being a people pleaser, which obviously affects you in a big way, causes probably your energy to drop, all that other stuff. So that's coming up next. Hi everyone, my name is Dave and this is HeartSpace if you're new to the channel, where I am releasing near daily videos to help raise your consciousness, to help you connect more to what it is you truly are, which in my eyes is a divine, infinite, co-creative being. And in this video, we are talking about people pleasing. I have been a people pleaser, or I was a people pleaser for a very long time. I didn't want to stick my neck out. I didn't want to be seen. I just wanted to do what people told me in a sense. And not have unnecessary pressure put on me and all of these different things. And this led to me just doing people-pleasing things and doing things essentially that I didn't want to do or wouldn't normally do, but did to please others. We first have to identify why is it that someone people pleases, whether it's you, whether you know someone. I can say it for myself, but we have to get to the root of why is it we even do this, because I can tell you that I had actually developed a persona where I just convinced myself, well, I'm just a nice guy and this is what nice guys do. They allow people to walk all over them. That's not the way obviously I framed it, but that's essentially what I was saying without even realizing it. Just letting people walk all over me, make decisions for me, tell me what to do, put my own interests aside for other people's interests, so on and so forth. And so we have to look at why that is. And number one, a lot of times, and one of the main things for me, what it was I was trying to get love from outside of myself. We do people-pleasing things because we think we need to please people, not get on their nerves for them to give us attention or give us love. And this was 100% what it was for me. I thought I had to be in certain friend circles. I thought I had to get it from certain people. And it got so bad to the point where I thought everyone needed to like me. And it was one of the ways I got most people to not really care or like me at all. But I thought, I had to act in a way that was in concordance with that, or else I couldn't get love. And so one of the biggest issues for people in my eyes who are people pleasers is a lack of self-love. And that should go without saying, but it is one thing you definitely need to look at. Because in my eyes, I say this all the time, but you cannot give what you don't have. If you have a cup, and let's say it's your love cup, your self-love cup, and it's empty, well, how can you give or pour into someone else's love cup anything if you're trying to do it from an empty cup? You cannot give that which you do not have. And this is the kind of loop that a people pleaser finds themselves in, because they have no self-love, so they have none to give, but they're trying to give self-love in these kind of very small, weak ways, forceful ways in a sense, not very powerful ways, because at the end of the day, to be a people pleaser usually means you're not cultivating self-love. Essentially, you are putting the needs of others, and usually the needs of others aren't, it's usually not as innocent sometimes as you may imagine, but you're putting the needs of others first, beyond yourself. And a lot of times we think, oh, that's a great thing, being sacrificial, being a martyr, whatever else it is. Yes, I put others before me. But again, if you truly care about actually being able to help others, we come back to that analogy of the cup. If you are giving from an empty cup, then what are you truly giving? If you're giving from a filled cup because you've taken care of yourself, you've gone in and done your rituals and your routines and whatever it is you need to fill up your own cup, well, then you have a cup that's overflowing and you're going to be able to give plenty. But you cannot truly give from an empty cup. A lot of times, again, we're just doing this because we want validation or love because we think we need it from outside of ourselves. But when we cultivate that love within ourselves and understand that we don't need anyone to give us love, we are love, we can cultivate our own love that comes from within ourselves, well then, not only will our cup be filled, but we'll want to go and share that with the world. You'll actually end up helping more people and pleasing to a degree people in an actually helpful way. Because when you're people-pleasing people, you're just giving them validation, you're giving them what their ego maybe wants, or even in a Machiavellian way, they're manipulating you. So there really is no upside in my eyes to people-pleasing. But when you come from a filled cup, you now don't have to give, but you decide to give from a filled place. You decide you want to contribute, you want to help others or whatever else it is. And now you're not coming from, I'm trying to fill a void within me through people pleasing. So here are a few things you can do to start cultivating that self-love. And if you're like me, I'm I'm an introverted person. I love my solitude, my alone time. I don't hang out with people all that much, not because I don't have the option to do so, or not because I can't. As I choose, I make the choice. Do I want to go hang out or do I want to be with myself? And most of the time I choose to be with myself. And if you're like me, I gain a lot of energy through being in solitude, going through my routines, doing whatever. And I have so much happiness and love and joy in doing that. And so one of the best words I learned was no. And I know you've heard this before, but saying no to things you don't want to do, but things you have to do to please someone, like go hang out, like, oh, you're not going to hang out with us? He's like, well, I need my time. If someone cares for you, they'll understand that you require alone time and some solitude, and that's what you need to fill up your own cup. If anyone says, you're weird for doing that, or tries to convince you or manipulate you or guilt you into not doing that, and then that's a different situation. And in my eyes, again, if I were you, I would probably end up trying to remove that relationship from my life, either all at once or over time. But ultimately, you need to learn to start saying no to the things that you really don't want to do and suck your energy dry. For me, I said yes to when I was a people pleaser, I said yes to so many things I didn't want to do. So many things, like 90% of the things I did, I didn't want to do, but I did them either because I thought I had to do them for someone else, or because people asked me and I didn't want to seem weird, I didn't want to seem antisocial. Now, there are times, of course, when I said yes because I legitimately want to do it. I still want to be social to a certain degree, but now I've learned how much I want to be that and how much I want to be by myself. I found the balance with me, and I do which one I want to do. I still speak to people and hang out. I'm not a hermit. I'm not a recluse. But I found what that is for me that helps me be happy, helps me to fill up my own cup. So learn what that is for you and learn to say no respectfully. But again, if anyone tries to be guilting you or shaming you, I would seriously look at that relationship and ask yourself if that's something you really want in your life. Another way to really determine this is if something feels light or feels heavy. For example, if you're going to hang out with certain people, you're going to go somewhere and it feels heavy, you don't really want to do it. Maybe your mind's trying to convince you, but you'd rather just stay at home and read a book, or you'd rather just stay at home and chill by yourself, or maybe you just want to hang out with one person, not a group. Whatever it is, feel your body, tune into your body and see how it reacts to your heart. Is it light or is it heavy? And in my eyes, move away from the heavy and move towards the light. We only ever have this present moment. If you're feeling heavy about something, there is something that is light that you could be doing instead. And never feel ashamed to cancel something. Say you committed to something in the weekend, say on Saturday, and it's Wednesday, and you're like, I don't really think I'm going to want to do that. Don't just not show up, because that is breaking a commitment. But so long as, in my eyes, you call it up and say, hey, I don't really want to do this, or I'm not up for it. Again, if you get someone who's not understanding, then in my eyes, you got to kind of look at that relationship. Again, you need to do what's going to help you. You're not going to really be much of a presence anyway if you're showing up there feeling really heavy, just feeling like you don't even want to be there. I don't want to hang out with someone personally who doesn't want to be with me and hang out with me. So say I hang out with someone and then I get the sense they don't want to be here, or they're kind of just dragged along or whatever. I would honestly turn to them and be like, hey, do you even want to be hanging out right now? You can feel that energy. I don't want someone to do what they don't want to do. But not every person is like that. A lot of people will keep orbiters around them because they want the validation, or they like to compare themselves to the other person, or it's just a habit. And so ultimately understand you need to come from that place. You don't need to do anything, but I recommend you come from that place of what feels light, what feels heavy, and moving towards what's light, right? And so once you start cultivating this too, and you start filling your own cup, because you might be like, well, I don't know what I want to do necessarily. Fill your own cup and it will be made clear what you want to do from a heart-based place. It'll be made clear if you actually want to hang out with this person, that group, do this thing, do that thing. Because when you're coming from a filled cup, you'll be naturally drawn to certain things. When you're coming from an empty cup, you're coming from this lack mentality, you're more in your head, you're trying to fill a void, which is cutting off your heart for the most part. And it's just not helpful. So that is my advice, guys. If you're a people pleaser and you also want to be kind when doing this, you can do all of this respectfully, but you do need to set boundaries. Setting boundaries is not being a jerk. Setting boundaries is not being someone who's not kind. In fact, I think being kind to yourself is one of the priorities. And again, you can't give what you don't have. So if you can't be kind to yourself, how can you go out there and be kind to others? If you can't be compassionate to yourself, how can you go out there and be authentically compassionate to others? So just something to keep in mind. Anyway, the choice is yours, whichever you choose to do, but those are my suggestions. Hopefully they help you in some way. Thank you so much for being here. Remember that you are loved, you live in a friendly universe, and I'll see you in the next video.